AITA for making my cheating ex have an abortion, then finishing with her afterwards. My ex and I had been together for 3 years, living together for the last 7 months. Things had hit a bit of a lull and I discovered evidence she had been cheating on me with a colleague. Inconsistencies in story, a mutual friend mentioning they saw her in town with this person, etc, and found nudes confirming it when she left her email logged into my PC. I wasn't sure how to approach her with this information, and I was in a bit of a fugue state between wanting to emotionally, and to my shame, physically hurt her, and just wanting to stop the pain. I thought maybe there was a reason why, but couldn't understand, so when I seemed to lose interest, be cold, I just said I wasn't feeling in the mood. Spent more nights working overtime so I could avoid seeing her. When she was out, I fit a lock to my bedroom door and discreetly moved her stuff into the spare room. However, what really sank things for me was when she came to me not even a week later to inform me that she was pregnant and acting like this was a chance to start our family. This didn't make sense, however, as we always took precautions, so I knew almost immediately it wasn't mine. I didn't say anything, didn't express emotion or anything an expectant father should. I just said okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow, and went to go play some too much to her dismay. She confronted me in tears expecting more response, and then I just snapped and completely tore into her, telling her that I knew she'd been cheating on me, and when she denied it, showed her the trail of nudes I'd saved between her and colleague. Ultimately that night I made her sleep on the pull-out sofa bed while I tried to make sense of things. Started work early the next day and worked from around 7 AM to 6:20 PM. Over the next few days, my ex tries talking things out with me. I shrug her off and just disconnect her as much as I can until eventually she begged me enough to give her a second chance, and part of me decided to hear her out. Eventually, after some deliberation, I agree to consider it if she'll terminate the pregnancy. I told her we weren't ready, simply because A, it isn't mine, for the sake of the child who I was afraid I'd grow to resent. Nobody deserves that, and B, even if it was mine, the cheating leaves me doubting we could offer a stable childhood. My ex soon goes through with the abortion and terminates her pregnancy, after which I still can't move on, so make it clear that I just can't see us with a future together, and tell her I'm no longer interested. I told her to get her things together and leave. House is mine, inherited from grandparents. All she paid was her share towards shopping and 1 or 2 bills. I offered to keep some of her stuff in storage until she can make arrangements, but for both our sakes I don't want her under the same roof. Had other issues, but cheating was final straw. She bawled as I made her pack her things and go. She is living with her parents now, and although I get shit, I feel better now. YTA, why are you even on this subreddit if all you're going to do is attack, tear apart other people's judgments? You clearly think you are in the right here. I don't know why you think you're above clinical evidence, but condoms do not work all the time. In practice, 15 out of 100 couples using condoms will get pregnant. The fact that you're commenting that you think she took old condoms and inseminated herself is disgusting. If you don't understand how contraception works, you shouldn't be having sex. Read a ducking book or something, bud. Not to mention this was a horrible manipulation of her autonomy and a coerced abortion. She dodged a major bullet here. YTA, what you did was very manipulative. The better response would have been to tell her that romantically you are done. You cannot trust her. Will never be able to trust her again. Recommend that she get an abortion. Let her know that if she decides to keep the baby, you will demand a paternity test and will only support it if it is yours. On the whole, you aren't a huge asshole, but there was a much better way to go about things. What she did was horrible, but you're an unbelievable asshole about manipulating her into having an abortion, then ditching her after you said you would work on it. People are being far too easy on you, and I don't really care if I'm downvoted. Did she want an abortion? How do you feel knowing it could have perhaps been your child? You could have simply told her to get her shit and leave without the psychological games. You're no better than her. ESH. But dude, you're a YTA bigger asshole. So yeah, obviously she sucks for cheating on you. Goes without saying. But you literally tricked her into having an abortion by pretending it was necessary for your relationship to recover. And then immediately afterwards told her actually, you never had any intention of continuing with her, and to pack her shit and get out. If you were always going to split with her, you should been honest and let her decide for herself what she wanted to do going forwards, rather than lying to her to get her to do something she might have decided not to otherwise. Maybe she still would have had an abortion. Maybe she would kept the pregnancy knowing she'd be a single mom. But either way you took that choice away from her. Seriously, guy, you suck. But I wouldn't say he's way worse. It is ducked up to make a guy pay and support someone else's kid. Imagine the trauma Op would have gone through if he never caught her cheating and found out that the kid he raised wasn't even his. Both Op and GF were equally manipulative. Yeah, sure. Except there was never any possibility of that in this situation. We don't need to consider hypothetical alternatives, because we have the facts of this case. And the facts of this case are, Op was never in danger of being tricked into paying child support for a child that wasn't his. He was leaving her before she carried to term. And he would immediately demand a paternity test after delivery if she attempted to claim it was his child. The only way he might have been responsible would be if it was his own offspring. So the only support he got out of by manipulating her into getting an abortion was any potential child support he rightfully owed to any child he might have conceived. Yes, if they're in a major way, abortions are no joke and you forced her for the sake of your relationship to have one. And when she did, for the sake of the relationship, go through with a pretty serious and mentally taxing procedure, you seemed to immediately dump her. Was this a sick and twisted diet of revenge? I'm not defending her cheating. That was awful of her to do it. She should have never known it. But what you did was millions of times worse. Was this a sick and twisted diet of revenge? No, I really did consider taking her back and salvage things instead of throwing the last 3 years in the bin. I couldn't see myself being a parent or even supporting a child that was 99% not mine and held under the risk of being used to manipulate me further. It's just that after the termination I still couldn't reconcile with her. No, you didn't have any intention of taking her back. Oh, I must have missed the flair that says you can read minds. I mean really, if he was gonna come out even admit to his own disgust he wanted to physically harm her, why would he lie about this? Is he still a major asshole for having her go through with the abortion before making his final decision on their relationship? Absolutely, but that doesn't mean he's some kind of evil supervillain. He manipulated someone into having an abortion on the off chance he might change his mind. He could have just walked away. That girl is a pose of shit for what she did and deserves to be unhappy. But instead of taking the high road, the Op played mind games and had her go through something that is traumatic for most women. He could have said you're ducking prob now and peace out and been 10,000x better off without her baggage. AITA, what the duck, you made her get an abortion first knowing that you probably still wouldn't take her back. And you still felt the need to ask. You've lost any sympathy I had, man. Shame on you. Wow. This is a good one. Best AITA I've seen in weeks really. Anyways, I'm gonna get downvoted to heck for this, but I don't care. NTA. This woman lied to you and tried to manipulate you into raising a child that wasn't yours. You housed her, cared for her, loved her, but that wasn't enough for her. She had to have her John on the side too. Never mind your feelings. Convincing her to get an abortion was the right move for you and your future. With the lie she's told so far, presumably sucking John's dick, only to come home and kiss you and tell you she loves you, there's a pretty good chance she would put your name on that birth certificate and try and rope you into paying her 40% of your income for the next 18 years. She didn't have to get that abortion. That was her choice. She's an adult and capable of making her own decisions as evidenced by her adultery. Honestly, it's probably best for her too. I'm guessing by her willingness to get the abortion that the real daddy wasn't fatherhood material. Otherwise she would have shacked up with him and kept the baby. Good on you for protecting yourself from a lying manipulative harpy. All the people voting anything but this had better put their money where their mouths are and start donating to organizations that advocate for mandatory paternity testing and legal paternal surrender to give men an actual defense against paternity fraud and reproductive coercion. Don't want Bacali abortions. Legalize abortion. Don't want men to lie to dishonest and abusive women to protect themselves from being further screwed over. Try giving men actual reproductive rights, and I do not mean the right to force a woman to get an abortion or prevent her from getting one. I mean the right to not be forced into indentured servitude because of a decision made unilaterally by someone else. Wow. Satan is an asshole. Revenge on the GF for cheating. What a ducking asshole. ESH. She's a cheater and you're manipulative. AITA. Vindictive. Nasty. Get some therapy. Dude, you are naive and need some sex education. You can still get pregnant even if you are using a condom. Secondly, AITA a really horrible person. If you had any doubt that you wanted to break up with her, you should have left her alone. Making a woman abort her pregnancy in exchange of your relationship is a horrible thing to do. I'm so furious on you being so stubborn, thinking she has self-inseminated herself. When two adults have sex, they both should own the unexpected. In no case you should have lured her into terminating her pregnancy if you knew you wanted exit. ESH, but you're definitely worse. If this is how you treat people, I hope you stay single for a long time. No one deserves the shit you just pulled. Please subscribe.